Back in the days, back in the old days, there was a drug called nitrous oxide. Apparently, it's now making a comeback. With us is my guest, Michael Molthan. He's an addiction expert. He overcame addiction and is now sober. His real job is as a home builder. So, kind of an interesting combination. Michael, what exactly is nitrous oxide?
Well, good evening, Dan, and thank you so much for having me on. Yeah, it's an old one. It's an old drug, and it's nitrous oxide is for your listeners when you go to the dentist and they give you laughing gas or something to to calm you down. That's
sure.
what it is. I mean, that's exactly what it is, and what it does is it calms the brain down, and the more you use it, you actually hallucinate and disassociate from your body, and that's where the attraction is for addicts.
So how is it ingested? I mean, is this? They were kids back 20 years ago, 30 years ago that used to try to sniff. What was it? Aerosol dispensers? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. So my personal experience, I used to do that, and there's a rush or airplane glue to get that instant high, all the way down to the old markers. The markers we used to, to sniff the liquid paper, the white liquid paper, but this is, on steroids, a lot stronger. And today, our kids, our college students, anyone, it's easy accessible because you can now purchase them online. You can also purchase it in local smoke shops. The smoke shops that are selling kratom, that they're selling, the THC vape pens and all that. You can also get what they're called whippets, and they're little canisters that you can open up and you inhale it, and it gives you this instant high, and it can be very dangerous.
And how did this make a comeback, I guess, if at some point it must have fallen out of fashion?
Well, you're right. It fell out of fashion, but it makes a comeback really because the internet and these smoke shops. These smoke shops are getting their hands on anything that is not illegal. It's just right in the middle on the gray line, and they sell these things, and they call them whippets, or hippie crack is what they call it. And these kids are, ingesting it. And what happens is, this is my personal opinion, it's a gateway drug into hallucinogens. I mean, it's a gateway drug into mushrooms. It's a gateway drug into LSD, acid, because an addict, once they're triggered, they want more. And so they want more of the experience, and it's very dangerous.
So if it is, look, I know that marijuana is legal in Massachusetts. We have not only medical but recreational dispensaries. I think we're about to open up cannabis cafes here in Massachusetts. Right. So how does that decision by the voters and by the politicians, how does that then open up the door to something that I don't think the voters or the politicians really are aware of? How does that work? I mean, how is that stuff legal if to be sold in what we think of as pot dispensaries?
Right. Let me answer it this way, speaking from a recovering addict, okay? It's a great question. I was asked before on the talk show just recently that if we were to magically build a wall around the entire United States, okay, would that help the drug epidemic? Yeah, it would help a little bit, but the real problem is I'm still going to get high. I am going to find a way to get high. So it's on the addict himself. We can vote and do all the things we want to, but what we need to do is we need to stop focusing on addiction and start focusing on why the addiction. And that's where we'll start getting the change, and it's one addict in recovery helping another one. It's starting to get people on your show, your successful show, sharing success stories of how we've overcome. And that's where we don't have to go to the ballot box. We just go right to the people and the true stories of redemption and restoration, and that provides hope, because it is a deadly epidemic.
Oh, look, we've seen the fentanyl, numbers, which have been pouring across the southern border for now years. And there are so many. I've done stories with parents who lost two kids on the same night. with fentanyl. Look, you don't have to convince me on this, but look, everybody, I like Coors Light and a glass of red wine with dinner, so I'm not the perfect person either, okay? But I can handle it, and it doesn't impact me.
Well, the reason why I love what you said right there is you had to have a Coors Light and a glass of wine, okay?
Yeah.
But it's not your source. It's not your source, and that's what addiction is that once something becomes my source, and I'm chasing these visible things to fix my invisible problems, then I'm in active addiction. Okay.
You know what, Michael? I need to talk to you more, and I think my audience needs to talk to you more. And so we do 4 interviews in the 8 o'clock hour here in Boston, and then I'd love to have you back. I'll have my
I would
producer
love
get
that.
in touch and to talk to some of my listeners, because I know that my listeners have kids who are in trouble, and I know some of my listeners in trouble, and some of my best callers are people who are reformed addicts. I have friends of mine who were heroin addicts. I have friends of mine, and I saw them through recovery, and I worked with them and to some and supported them. Okay, they did it on their own, but I think support is very important. And I'd love to have you back. So how can folks get in touch with you in the meantime? What's the best way? You have a website?
We do. We have a huge platform, and that's all we talk about. We've been doing this for 7 years, and it's M2. That's the letter M, the number 2, The Rock, TheRock.com. Visit our website, and you can follow us.
Okay, so M2 The Rock. So M2THEROCK.com or .org?
.com.
.com. Michael, we'll have you back. Thank you for what you do. Congratulations on your recovery. You're an inspiration and can be an inspiration to some of my my audience who may be dealing with some problems with their own family. And we'll get you back, and we'll talk to
anytime
listeners
you want
as well. Thank you very much. Michael Molthan, an addiction expert. It's M2 The Rock, all one word, .com.